let's keep it real. Let's talk about a couple of things that are really relevant right now, and that might be heavy to talk about. So keeping it 100%, keeping it real, we all know that sometimes life sucks. We all know that sometimes life is difficult and heavy and challenging, and things can happen that seem like it's really not fair. That being said, let's talk specifically about how we can relate to these challenges and these situations with respect to interactions with other people. So today I want to talk about the topic of how we set expectations for others and how we therefore subconsciously and sometimes accidentally, usually it's unintentional, how we therefore subconsciously expect these people in our lives to meet the expectations we set for them. And when they don't, if they do not meet these expectations exactly to the T, we feel fear, pain, hurt, discomfort. We feel unhappy. We feel like we're not getting the most out of the situation, and we feel unfulfilled. So let's look at that specifically right now, today. Let's focus on that. Whether one's actively aware of it or not, every time we meet someone, let's say dating, for example, if you're going on a date with someone, or if you're meeting a friend for the first time, when you're communicating with other human beings, most of the time you're accidentally setting this bar and you're accidentally projecting some sort of expectations onto the other person. It's not necessarily intentional. It's really habitual. It's something that we tend to do without even realizing that we're doing it. We have an idea about how that interaction is going to go. We have certain wishes, thoughts, desires, dreams, and hopeful outcomes that we want to see fulfill themselves throughout this period of time that we're hanging out with another person. So that being said, one can notice how in life, if you go into a conversation or any sort of an interaction with a person where you have expectations for how that's going to turn out, you are automatically causing discomfort for yourself and for the other person, because you are putting them in a situation where if they don't fulfill your expectations exactly how you want, you are somehow disappointed and they don't necessarily know why. A lot of the times, let's say specifically within the context of relationship and with dating, if we have expectations for a date to go a certain way, or for the person to do certain things on the date, before the date, after the date, and they fail to do that, that causes incredible amounts of pain, suffering, and discomfort. So it goes back to my other videos where if we're expecting a text, or if we're expecting some sort of a greeting or a conversation, and we happen to not get that immediately, we kind of enter like this panic mode, and we kind of freak out. And your head can tell you in your mind, it can just say things like, maybe I did something wrong, I wonder if I shouldn't have said that, maybe I was too forward, maybe I wasn't forward enough, what could I have done better? How did I push them away? Right? So it basically goes into freak out mode. It's hilarious, isn't it? It's so cute in a way when you understand how your mind really works and how it can perpetuate just suffering for you in minute amounts, which adds up to a large amount of suffering over time. So these things may seem inconsequential now, but over time it just gets heavier and heavier, and the burden just kind of weighs down. So what are some practical ways in which we can interact with the people around us without having these accidental expectations? The simplest way to answer that is don't have any expectations for whomever you're going to be hanging out with or whatever you're going to be doing. Just navigate your way through life in a way that feels like it's healthy and true to your heart. So if you end up going on a date with someone and you're maybe 15-20 minutes into the date and you're not feeling it, you're getting an uncomfortable feeling, you don't think this person's engaging, you are feeling like the conversation isn't really going anywhere, don't force yourself to sit through the remaining hour and a half of that date because you had the expectation that you'd be on this date until 10 p.m. and it'd be just weird if you left before. Don't let your expectations lock you in and limit you. If you're not feeling it after the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'd say let it go, cut it off. By the time it hits that 30-minute mark, it's definitely a no-go. It's not really worth pushing the conversation and trying to force this connection that's not really supposed to happen. Same goes with friendships. If you are trying to connect with someone or do an activity that you like together and you just feel like it's not really happening, that doesn't mean you have to try harder. Maybe that just means you have to take a step back. So it's all about just taking a step back, removing yourself from the immediate situation just for a moment, and looking at it and saying, wow, this is so interesting. I see how I'm being really reactive to this. Or I see how this is making me feel uncomfortable, upset, angry, triggered. I see how this is making me react so strongly. For example, it's very, very likely that most of us, if not all of us, have been on a date where we can kind of tell within the first moment of meeting someone, we can kind of tell that their intentions are, let's say, pretty much to just get laid, right? You can feel it out, and you can tell the difference between going on a date with someone whose intentions are, I have this expectation where in the end, this is what I'm going to get. So in the end, I'm going to get physical intimacy from someone. That is that person's expectation. Versus where you go on a date with someone who doesn't have an agenda for it and doesn't have any specific expectations and just sort of lets things manifest as they come. So just lets things manifest naturally on their own way. We know the difference between the kind of heaviness of that person that we're on the date with, who we can feel the vibe that they're just wanting to be physical, versus the light and the non-heavy, the lightness of the energy of the person who really doesn't have a goal and really doesn't have an agenda and could not care less either way. We know the difference between these two types of people when we're dating. So what priorities do you have in your life? Are you going to want to surround yourself with the people who you feel like are utilizing you and your time and your date for a specific agenda because they have those expectations? Or would you prefer to engage in lighthearted connections with people who maybe don't have expectations? So from that same vantage point, notice yourself and notice whether or not you are the person who is unconsciously pushing these expectations on someone else, or whether you are the person who is gently relaxing back and just kind of letting things unfold and not forcing yourself or forcing your agenda onto anyone else and not trying to force things to happen. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Jessica Steele. I'm the solo female traveler traveling internationally and nationally across the globe in search of deeper aspects of self and self-exploration. I'm also pushing a new initiative of mindfulness. Everything that I've talked to you about now in this video is mindfulness based. Mindfulness just being the exploration of deeper parts of the self, deeper parts of my mentality, and being more connected and calm and non-reactive in situations that are stressful and are hard to deal with, because life has challenges. That's just life. For more on mindfulness and for more on dating, on self-awareness, and on self-respect, check out my other videos, and I'll be posting some more videos that are focused on topics you want to hear about, so let me know. Anything that you want to hear about specifically, give me a shout out, let me know. Other than that, let's live and let live. Let's make this life a beautiful one. Namaste, everybody. Thank you. Just let's think. I am actually getting bitten by mosquitoes. I'm too nice to kill them, so I'm just trying to kindly swat them away. So what